What do you think of when you hear the word habit? Some might say it's waking up early, exercising, smoking, consuming soda, or even playing games, among other things. Habits are an integral part of our lives. There is a study that shows that at least 40% of the actions we take every day are habits, and not based on conscious choices. Hello everyone, in this video, I'll summarize one of Charles Duhigg's books titled, The Power of Habit, How Successful People Have Are Good Habits and Stop Bad Ones. Transforming old habits into new ones for success. The choices you make every day are not the result of well-considered decisions. These choices are relatively small habits that gradually shape your thoughts, decisions, and work routines in your life. In this book summary, we will learn why habits form, the elements of habits, and how to turn old habits into new ones that can lead to success in life. Some interesting things you will learn from this book include: why do habits emerge in a person's life? How to build new habits? Why can change happen? What makes willpower so important in changing habits? How to create a plan to form habits? The three-step habit loop is the process in the brain. The emergence of habits is because the brain is constantly looking for ways to conserve effort. Left to its own devices, the brain will try to turn almost every routine into a habit because habits allow your brain to relax more often and conserve energy. This is a significant advantage. An efficient brain allows you to stop constantly thinking about basic behaviors like walking and choosing food. This allows you to conserve energy, such as for urgent tasks at work. The habit process in the brain is a three-step loop. First, there is a cue that tells the brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. Second, there is the routine, which can be physical, mental, or emotional. Third, there is the reward that helps your brain determine whether this loop should be retained or not. Over time, this loop becomes more and more automatic. The cue and the reward become so tightly linked that anticipation and a strong desire for the reward emerge. In the end, a habit is born. Habits are not destiny. They can be ignored, changed, or replaced. When a habit emerges, the brain stops participating fully in decision-making. The brain stops working hard or diverting to other tasks. Unless you intentionally resist a habit, habit patterns are ingrained in your brain's structure. This is a great advantage for you because it would be very annoying if you had to learn how to drive again every time you came back from a vacation. The problem is, the brain can't distinguish between bad and good habits. So if you have a bad habit, it's always there waiting for the appropriate reward cue to appear. By learning the structure of the habit loop, habits become easier to control. Once you break a habit down into its components, you can fiddle with the gears. Charles Duhigg. Cravings will drive the new habit loop. Usually, cravings slowly build up until you're unaware they exist. This often makes you blind to their influence. But once you associate a cue with a specific reward, subconscious cravings will arise in your brain, initiating the habit loop. New habits are formed by linking one cue, one routine, and one reward. For example, smoking. When a smoker sees a pack of Marlboros, their brain craves the pleasure of nicotine. If the nicotine pleasure isn't obtained, the craving grows until the smoker unconsciously grabs a cigarette. Anyone can use this basic formula to create their habits. For instance, you want to exercise more. Choose one cue, like going to the gym right after waking up, and one reward, like a cup of green tea after exercising. Then, think about the endorphin pleasure you'll experience. This will make it easier for you to go to the gym every day. You can change habits, but you can't erase them. The secret to changing old habits is to use what's already in your head. Habits themselves are a three-step loop: cue, routine, and reward. To make it easier, focus on the middle step first, the routine. For example, you want to change a habit. You can keep the old cue, provide the same reward, but insert a new routine in the middle. This way, you can change the routine to alter the habit, as almost any behavior can be changed as long as the cue and reward remain the same. If you can identify the cue and reward, you can change the routine, at least in most cases. However, some habits require an additional element, belief. Habits can change permanently. What you need to do is believe that change is possible. If belief often comes with the help of a group, then try joining a community that can help change your routines. Belief is crucial. Belief grows from shared experience, even if that community consists of just 2 people. While habits may be ingrained in our brains, habits are not destiny. We can choose our habits, and any habit can be changed if we understand how it works. Charles Duhigg. Building a resolute habit is crucial for your success. Willpower is the single most important key habit for individual success. In the 1980s, a widely accepted theory emerged, stating that willpower is a skill that can be learned, something that can be taught to children just like math and saying thank you. However, in the mid-90s, Mark Muravin, a PhD candidate in psychology at Case Western, found that willpower is not just a skill, it's a muscle, like the muscles in your arms and legs. Therefore, willpower can get tired, especially as the workload increases. If you want to do something that requires full willpower, it's important to conserve your willpower muscle that day. Additionally, if you spend it early on tedious tasks like analyzing finances or writing complex and boring letters, your willpower for exercise will be depleted by the time you get home. Furthermore, researchers have found that willpower can be exhausted when faced with unfriendly instructions. When someone is given instructions and treated as a human, not a robot, their willpower isn't easily drained. This can be beneficial for companies where simply giving employees a sense of control can boost the energy and focus they put into their work. So, to develop full willpower, practice conserving it throughout the day. When you want to change a habit that requires full willpower, it's important to save your strength by not exhausting yourself with other activities. Also, consider the habit as under your control to improve focus and energy when forming it. Plan to create your new habit. Remember the habit formula. When you see a cue, you perform a routine to get a reward. To engineer this formula, you must make a choice by having a plan, or in psychology, known as implementation intentions. For example, a writer has a habit of snacking every afternoon. Using this framework, the cue is around 3:30 p.m. She knows her routine is going to the cafeteria, buying snacks, and chatting with a friend. Through trial and error, she discovers that she doesn't really crave the snacks but rather a brief distraction and a chance to socialize. So, she plans it this way. Every day at 3:30 p.m., I will walk to a friend's desk and chat for 10 minutes. To make sure she remembers to do this, she sets an alarm on her watch for 3:30 p.m. The plan doesn't work immediately. There are days when she's busy and ignores the alarm, buying snacks again. But on the days when she follows the plan, she feels better. When the workday ends, she doesn't go to the cafeteria, she doesn't devour biscuits, and she's perfectly fine. Eventually, it becomes automatic. She mentioned that her watch once went missing, but at around 3:30 every day, almost unconsciously, she would stand up, look around the office for someone to chat with, spend 10 minutes gossiping, and then return to her desk. It happened almost without thinking. This has become a new habit that replaced the old eating habit. Changing some habits may be more challenging, but the framework is a starting point. Sometimes change takes a long time. Sometimes it involves trial and error. However, once you understand how habits work by diagnosing the cue, routine, and reward, you gain power and control over them. Book summary conclusion. Habits can emerge in a person's life because the brain constantly seeks ways to conserve effort. When routines are consistently repeated, the brain tries to turn them into habits because habits allow the brain to relax and save energy. This is a natural part of brain function. To build new habits, we need to identify the cue, routine, and reward of the habit we want to form. Then, we can replace the old routine with the desired new one, while keeping the same cue and reward. Change can happen because our brains have the ability to adapt and form new habits. With a good understanding of the cue, routine, and reward, we can leverage this process to replace old habits with more positive ones. Willpower is important in changing habits because it allows us to overcome obstacles and temptations that often arise when trying to change habits. Willpower helps us stay focused and consistent in forming new habits, even in the face of challenges. To create a plan for forming a habit, we need to identify the cue that will trigger the new habit, design a suitable routine, and determine a reward that will motivate us. This plan can help us take concrete steps to create and maintain the desired habits. Thank you for tuning in to the VOICEBOOK channel. We will be summarizing various books for you, so you can stay informed even if you don't have time to read them. See you in the next video.